Ham Tech, welcome back to my dog walks. There's Mazzy in the distance. It's very cold today. It was 0 degrees last night. When I woke up, all the cars had frozen wind screens, and even the water on the ground was frozen. And someone's actually messaged me and said it's not officially winter for another 3 weeks. I'm like, it's winter. It's freezing. So today we're going to talk about a shack, because very often you'll hear me say, welcome back to the shack, because I had a question saying, to be a ham radio operator, should I have, or do I have to have, a radio shack? And I would say, well, no. I said, if there's a spare room in your house, unused, well, it does make sense to get yourself a table and put your favourite radios on it. And some people will, have tiered levels of radios, and on the walls they might have a nice map of the world and their ham radio license and ham radio related items, techie items. Put your base station speaker there for your HF radio. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a shack, but no, you can just buy a ham radio, put it next to your bed. I'm talking really QRP, really low power. I wouldn't actually recommend 100 watt or 500 watt radio next to your bed. I think that was probably not sensible. But a small little QRP Yaesu 817 shack in the box radio, VHF, UHF, listen to airband, listen to the HF bands. Why not? Put that in your bed. You probably have to pack it all away when your wife comes in the room, but it's so easy to do, isn't it? So then you think, well, antenna wise, do I have to have a base station antenna? You don't have to. I mean, it's better to, if you're going to use the HF bands where the wave is a very large wave. You're going to need a large antenna. Now you can buy vertical antennas which are quarter wave or less, and like a big white stick, but it's never gonna, I don't think they work that well myself. They're a compromise. You will receive stations, especially when there's competitions and when the conditions, propagation is good for HF bands with large waves like 3.5 megahertz, 7 megahertz, 14 megahertz. So you don't have to have a base station antenna. I mean, I find that you could literally just get the longest length of wire you can find lying around, sellotape it to the ceiling, and you're going to get something. It's not going to be brilliant, but you'll get something. You wait and see. I've done it. The better way is to run some coax on a patch lead outside your house. Look for the longest stretch you can get away with, and just stretch the length of wire. The ideal length for me is 66 foot. And yes, of course you can dog leg it. It doesn't have to be 66 foot in a long line. You can bend it 3 times. Each time you bend it, it's near, say, some fencing or a tree, everything affects everything, and the higher up is always better. But it's going to work, and you'll get contacts, no problem. Yeah. I do think that if you're QRP and you've got lots of things charging at home, like near and around you, it's going to affect things. The power supplies, the chargers, they do affect things. Turn them all off. But you're always going to find someone to contact. I remember when I first moved in where I live now, we had no antennas up. I had a stick, a whip, sort of a 40-meter stick. It's literally the size of me, 6 foot long. Lent it against the room in my house, even the collinear, lent it on the wall, put my dual bander and my HF set there, and it worked straight away. And I didn't put anything up. You always get something. It's just it won't be ideal. So it's whatever works. Doesn't matter if you're in a flat, if you're in a house, if you're not allowed to put antennas up. There's always something you can do at home. You've seen these loops that everyone raves on about, which are sort of almost like an amplified antenna. You can put them on your table, and obviously higher up it's always going to be better, but you can buy a loop and it will do literally all the bands. It's a compromise. No, it's not going to do it well, but what do you really want? You want something to listen to every day. Well, I've got an All-Star node which sits in the room with me, and that allows me to connect all around the world via an analog normal radio. I'm talking Bofeng type radios here, Koshang, the whole world, okay? Because it effectively, the analog box connects me to the internet. Same goes for the hotspot. If you've ever heard of a hotspot, it's if you get a digital radio like a DMR radio, that'll connect you around the world. And you'll be chatting all day long with just that, and then you've got all the apps you can download as well. Peanut, Zello, Echolink. You know, so this is what I love about our hobby. There's so many options to get out there and chat with people, make lots of new friends and learn a lot. And most hams do like to learn. It's fun learning. Yes, some learning is frustrating, but just learn what you want to learn. So no, you don't need a shack. It's nice to have one. They do end up being junk rooms filled, well, it's the wrong word, junk, but they do end up being filled with gadgets, because suddenly when you've got somewhere to put everything, you buy more. If it's next to your bed, your wife or your husband, you know, whatever, it's going to like seeing all these radios next to the bed. And I bet you that's a common complaint. And antennas, of course. I've never met my partner and other people's partners who likes antennas. They hate antennas. They're like, ugh, it's so ugly. But then if you look at all the telephone wires and all the other wires in the house that are providing internet and telephone and everything else that are house and in your street, look outside, there's wires everywhere. But when it's your own shack, it's ugly. But when it's normal life, they don't even see it. Anyway, thanks for my dog walk chat. Hit the like, hit the notification bell, buy us a coffee or buy my wife a coffee, and then join the channel. Bye for now, 7-3.